welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Chadwick, this is Mono Red Prison. The background here is that Chadwick is coming back to Legacy after a few years break, and he's got Ancient Tombs, he's got City of Traders, and he wants to explore the various shells that core mana engine supports in the present day Legacy. He's got another list coming up, the blue Patchwork Stompy 8-cast kind of deck, so this is going to be a bit of a mini-series. But we decided to start with Mono Red Prison. It came down to Red Prison over Goblins, specifically because he doesn't want to deal with stickers and paper, which I could respect. And according to MTG Goldfish, Goblins is a top 5 deck, and Red Prison is a top 7 deck, so they're not that far off in meta share, and there's always players working on Red Prison, and there's things to like about this versus Goblins. It's just kind of cool that we have two different mono-red Ancient Tomb decks in the format right now. 3 if you count Painter. But let's talk about the deck that's actually in front of me here. The goal here is to do something stupid that costs 3 mana, and then while your opponent is floundering to catch up with that 3 mana thing, you just play 1 or 2 more 3 mana things, and then eventually they die. Most of the cards in this deck are a serious force check situation. And force check, for those who don't know what that means, is you just put a messed up thing on the stack and ask your opponent if they have force of will. And you do it quickly, so force of will is really the only thing that could catch it in time. In this particular shell, Blood Moon is the potential GG button that we have. And there are 6 copies of that between the 4 moons, which I realize now are split and I'm on tilt about it, and 2 Magus of the Moons. The split of Magus and Blood Moon is something that brewers of this deck, tuners of this deck, have to be hyper in tune with. I am not one of those. I'm just a Legacy player who basically knows how this deck works. But as far as determining why we have 4 Blood Moons and 2 Magus of the Moons, I assume people are more worried about Lightning Bolt than they are about Force of Vigor. And really it's just about what the removal in the format lines up against worse, because you want to be the one juking off of what people can remove easily. Blood Moon gets Besaju'd off of basic forest, Magus of the Moon gets bolted off any land and plowed off of the basic plains. They both lose to Prismatic Ending, but they both make Prismatic Ending, or Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending. They make both Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending harder to cast effectively. So there's some overlap and there's some uniqueness, and it seems that the people who are winning, I did a dive, I looked at a bunch of 5-0 lists and recent tournament finishes and just found a list that appeared to be the most aggregately successful. Seems like people are on 4 Blood Moon. Then Rabblemaster is the classic threat in this deck. Broadside Bombardier's relatively new, but quickly established itself as one of the most messed up new cards. Really hard to beat this thing in combat, really hard to race this thing with creatures. Really hard to really keep anything going with Broadside Bombardiers going around. Just whipping stuff at people. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, a full boat of these. This is a threat, it's mana, it's a 2-for-1, it's card selection. And in the late game, it can become completely insane with things like Fury, if you're copying those. Fable really needs no introduction, but the fact that it has fully established itself as a 4-of in these Ancient Tomb red decks in Legacy really speaks to the power of this card. I've been here the whole time with oh yeah, maybe that card could be cute. And then it's we try 1, then we try 2. Now it's just an obvious 4-of in any deck that can cast it, really. And 4 Furies to kill stuff. Shatter Skull Smashing is a land. It can also go into a Chrome Mox, and you cast it some amount of the time. And then the prison elements. This is, I think, the most interesting thing that's going on in the current builds of this deck. Forge Chalice of the Void, kind of a no-brainer. But we're on 4 Unlicensed Hearse, only 1 Trinisphere. That's a sign that indicates that the format is more about graveyard stuff than it is about high velocity of spells. Because old builds of this deck just had 4 Trinispheres. Yeah, obviously, we're trying to jam something unbeatable on turn 1. What's better than Trinisphere? And that's still true, but we are in an era where it seems like unlicensed Hearse is favored by pilots who have done the work. I've seen this split in many 5.0 lists, and seems like that's where people are. There's also no additional prison rocks in the sideboard. I've seen decks like this shy away from Trinisphere in the main before, but in the past there's been like 2 more in the sideboard in case you queue into Storm. It seems like we're either just not worried about that. We've either punted the matchup in that it's not worth fixing, or we believe we can just beat it anyway. I'm not sure which is which. We still have Chalice, Trinisphere, and a fast clock, so maybe that's that. And like I said, all of this is reverse engineered from the choices of other people. I've done no work on Red Prison. I'm not going to do any work on Red Prison. This is not my style of deck. I am very much out of my comfort zone, but I hope to give a good showing for Chadwick so he can get his feet wet in Legacy. Let's do this thing. This is Red Prison. On the draw in round 1, my opponent's revealed a Yorion. I do have the engine here. I can pitch one of these 3 dummies to Chrome Mox and then start casting 3s. I'm going to keep the hand. Prismatic Vista. Okay. Already, my 6 Blood Moon's looking sus. Okay, we're playing against just probably black-white Death and Taxes. When I see Yorion these days, I don't necessarily think Taxes. And I think versus D&T, I want Fable. Because this hand is not exactly strong to Wasteland. In fact, it is disastrous to Wasteland. And they've already stuck Aether Vial, so I don't need to Chalice them. And now do I think Broadside Bombardiers or Goblin Rabblemaster will be a more useful card versus Death and Taxes, and their deck is built around a 2/1 first strike, so I think I'm going to pitch the Rabblemaster. And I could probably safely discard both of these Hearses to the Fable loot ability next turn. If they go like Wasteland you, Plow your thing, Violin, Mother of Runes, if they have the nuts here, I'm dead. They've got Plains. That's not a Wasteland. We've cleared the first hurdle. And they didn't actually do anything. That's cool. And they also don't have black mana. You may be wondering why I'm talking about that, but Death and Taxes these days is frequently black-white, and not getting that ability Bowmastered rules pretty hard. Okay, I can pre-combat Broadside Bombardiers, second main Chalice. I think I like that. Just give them something scary to think about with a Swords to Plowshares if they have one. Solitude, evoking, pitching Flicker Wisp. I hope they go after Broadside here, actually. Cool. Managed to distract them with my second best creature. Got a 2-for-1 out of that. Broadside's obviously really good, but also I want to keep my mana going. Den of the Bugbear enters untapped this turn only. Then Chalice of the Void can turn off future Aether Vials, Mother of Runes, Swords to Plowshares. Vial is happening. Mother! And I am at 18 after 2 Ancient Tomb taps and a Swords to Plowshares effect. Vial is showing Thalia here, but they didn't spend that 2 mana in their hand at all last turn. I have to think about Stoneforge Mystic. Fury's really good. I can fire up Den of the Bugbear if I'm willing to take 3 to do it, and I think I am. Shatter Skull, the Hammer Pass. And then another million damage. I'm at 13. Anyway, I started blasting. Let's see if this Aether Vial is going to jack up combat. They're going to not trade with the Goblin. They're going to eat the Goblin. Take the 5. If they Violin Stoneforge Mystic and then put in Cauldra, they could put me to 8, which is not a whole lot. But I can cast and copy Fury next turn. The Stoneforge is what they have. Let's see if this is Batter Skull or what's going on here. Cauldra complete. Vial on 3 becomes really terrifying. Now the entire tutor package with Recruiter the Guards online, they could Flicker with me mid-combat. They could even attack for 5 with Cauldra, and then Flicker the Cauldra, and then have it on blocks as well. There's a bunch of tricks they could do here. It will be interesting to see if they want to race, or if this is a blocker. They do want to race. And we've got a Vial activation, Skyclave, eats my Reflection. Yep. Yeah, all their best cards cost 3. Mother of Runes means this Fury can't save me. Magus of the Moon's not going to save me either. If I cast Fury, I get to kill something. Either Mother of Runes or Skyclave Apparition dies. I go to 6 to do it. Alright. Fury, get in there. Cause trouble as much as you can. Put damage on Skyclave and Mother. They're saving the apparition. They don't want to give me a blue 3/3. That makes sense. That does remove the mother. I wonder if I was supposed to attack first, lose the goblin, and then kill Stoneforge and something else. If I go to 1 from this Cauldra attack, that's not a lot to work with. My Ancient Tomb is just completely off. This is not a favorable block no matter what. I'm just going to go to 1 and hope for something helpful. Another Ancient Tomb's not it. I can Magus the Moon, which turns my Ancient Tombs back into mountains. Turns off my Den of the Bugbear, but that's not helping anyway. From 1 life, I can't even really leave back anything good. All right. Yep, we got cleaned up there. The Stoneforge Mystic, just too good. I want my Dead Gons in. Those can kill every creature in their deck or bounce a Cauldra thing. Torpor Orb, insanely good versus Death and Taxes. I've played this in blue decks to shut down Death and Taxes. Brotherhood's End is a sweeper. I don't think I'm trying to Blood Moon this deck. They do have Wastelands and stuff, and sometimes that's bad, but they also have a ton of basics and Aether Vial. Fiery Confluence seems deeply messed up against them as well. Oh, Unlicensed Source, that has to come out in its entirety. Pyrokinesis comes in. Magus of the Moon can come out for these 2 Torpor Orbs. It's just a 10-card sideboard flip. And it does make sense. A well-constructed deck has good mapping like this, where Blood Moon and Unlicensed Source don't matter against Death and Taxes, and then I have 10 creature removal spells, or 8 creature removal spells and 2 Torpor Orbs. That sounds dope. Makes sense to me. I'm after it. Okay, this hand has 2 mana and no additional source of anything. Mulligan. Come on now. 1, 2, 3. I can turn 1 of Fable here. Costs me my whole hand. Like I have to pitch Fury, Fable, don't even have a land drop. Or Spirit Guide, Fable. No land drop at all. Just lose the Swords of Plowshares. I don't think I can keep this. Okay, here we go. It's slow, but it works. And works is better than I've gotten out of my other 2 hands. I'm sending back 1 of these Ancient Tombs, and I think I want all my spells. And I have to decide if I want to let them waste my red source, or just have the better land in play. And I think I'd rather keep the unwastable red source. Slow and steady, which is not how I want to play. Aether Vial, unfortunately not Mother of Runes. Can't kill this one with Dead on curve. Fable provides some mana stability. There is the black, and there's Thalia. Okay. I can defeat Thalia. Chalice of the Void. I'm going to loot that away. Den of the Bugbear. Okay, so they would need Solitude to stop Broadside here, and Broadside can throw the treasure to kill Thalia. I'm going for it. If they have Solitude here, I'm just roasted, basically. Okay, cool. And then Boast, target Thalia, sack the treasure. This is what I was talking about in the deck tech, where it's really hard to get anything going in the face of a Broadside Bombardiers. And if they Violent Mother of Runes, I can Spirit Guide Dead it. Okay, they didn't have that. Good news. Windswept Heath. Yeah, take that damage. Got him. But like we saw last game, the 3s are the scary magic number here. Skyclave ate that. I can Spirit Guide in the end step, or I could just use mana on my turn to do that and save the Spirit Guide. I lose an attack for 3 if I do it like that. But I'm also pretty worried about Stoneforge Mystic still. Okay, cool. Rabblemaster, give me some action here. My creatures have to attack, because they are able. And I'm going to let them get a nice block. Oh, if they just put in Stoneforge here, oh, Thalia. All right. I think I just have to kill Thalia then. Dead Thalia. I can't get them. Let them have that free first strike. Okay, here we go. They got 2 cards left, 12 life. This is the big turn. They got to do something or I'm going to be crashing. Yep, that's a play. That's also a play. Oh no. You weren't supposed to actually have it. And then Vial on 3, so they just have everything now. A land lets me activate Den of the Bugbear. I could pitch Spirit Guide to do it, or I could play this Fable and Mirror Breaker. I'm going to attack them with Goblin Shaman, see if they want to trade Goblin Shaman up to a 3/3. Okay. Does that mean they have Flicker Wisp? Or does that mean they're just worried about my mana? Refable. Okay, whatever they have 1 card left over there. And they didn't violin a 3. And Vile went up to 4, so they might have Solitude in hand, or they might just be planning for Yorion next turn. The 4 is not a particularly useful number in their deck most of the time. Broadside Bombardiers, don't mind if I do. I would like to discard the Simian Spirit Guide, though. Okay, multiple Bombardiers. Get in there, big guys. And they just scoop to that one. Okay, yep. Best card in the deck. I don't think there's anything clever to do on the player draw here. My cards pretty much are my cards. This is just one of those decks that is worse on the draw. Just full stop. Your plan is your plan in all matchups. The same, except when you're on the draw, you're behind a resource. I won the Star City Invitational with Death and Taxes, so I know how that feels. I was on the draw the entire top 8 because I was 8th going into the thing, and then I basically didn't lose. I'm going to keep this. Multiple sweepers, the Chrome Mox, the turn 1 Fable, good stuff all around. A Swamp, am I getting Thoughtseized? Hell yeah, I am. If they strip the Chrome Mox, they've got a real chance to just not let me play the game here. Alright, took Fable. Instead of taking the Chrome Mox, they took the thing that's worth casting out of the Chrome Mox. That makes perfect sense. Yep, they guessed right, too, because I had it. I'm going to put this Chalice on 1 down, and I understand they're a Thalia deck, but I'm not going to pitch my red card out from under my Fury or Pyrokinesis to get Chrome Mox in. Stoneforge Mystic. Finding the Batter Skull. I wonder if that's a hedge because they know my hand's full of red cards, or if that is a indication that they already have the Cauldron in their hand. Either way, I found a threat. Right, Fury, pitch Pyrokinesis. I don't think it matters which one of these I pitch, because I have to do it now if I want my Rabblemaster to get through. Alright, Rabbler, get in there. It's cool that I can just F6, and I don't even have to click my creature into combat because it has to fight. Okay, Orcish Bowmaster gets me in combat. They know about this Ancient Tomb already, so I could just play it. Alright, let's find out. Do they have some way to ambush me, or do they just have nothing? I could have not attacked with Rabblemaster, but if they have nothing here, I just want to make sure I'm crashing. And they do appear to have nothing. Batterskull's still a turn away. We're going to fetch, maybe for Shadowy Backstreet, get a little selection here. Yep. Huge innovation in the Death and Taxes shell, just giving fetch lands and selection. That's 4 mana. Alright, what do you got at 4? Didn't have a 3 last turn. This gives you 1 bug. Okay. That wasn't... Oh, wait, how does this card work? Oh, for each non-land card, not for each creature card. Oh, it's artifact or land. I was completely wrong about how this card works. All right, yeah, you have a lot of bugs. Never mind. A lot of bugs curving your way up to Batterskull. Dead gone. Okay, I'm going to play City of Traders, and I'm going to attack with everything, because I have Dead here, which could cause problems on a double block. But I think I want to save the Gone for the Batterskull token. Okay, they triple blocked over here to play around removal anyway, which makes my choice easy. Yeah, hopefully they just tap out for Batterskull. I bounce the thing, and I can get these last 7 points across. There you are. End step. You're gone. Oh, I'm glad I didn't play to a situation where I tried to dead one of their creatures, because I have Chalice of the Void in play. Good one, me. I'm glad they made the block that made that decision easy. Attack. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could Chalice on 2 or 3 here. My deck is full of 3s, which that basically locks out all the best cards in their deck, but also locks out all of my draws. Chalice on 2 doesn't affect my deck at all, and does hit a bunch of their stuff. I would have preferred that to be a Broadside Bombardiers or a Rabblemaster or just anything that does damage, but I guess I'll take that. Yorion's in hand. That will be a problem next turn as it flickers the Batterskull. Dead gone again. Alright. It's hard carrying this whole match. This doesn't actually solve my problems though, because if I bounce the Germ token, they can just re-equip to Yorion. Yeah, I think holding this in my hand as a Chrome Mox red source in case I draw the Fiery Confluence and just win. It's probably how I have to play this. Pyrokinesis. That's so close. And they have me in the Caracas loop here, so even if I answer the germ token now or in combat, they just pick up Yorion, replay it, flicker that, and we're back behind the walls. Just deciding if hardcasting Pyrokinesis is worth getting Dead Gone out of my hand for under the Chrome Mox, or if I should just hold. I think I'm just going to hold and Dead Gone the Germ before they gain a bunch of life. Because I feel like getting the last few points across with Broadside Bombardiers or Fiery Confluence is how I can actually win this game. Gone is the Germ for now. But now, oh no, Yorion will be untapped if they bounce it. I was about to say Yorion's tapped, but no, I'm in the loop. I'm in the end game. Here we go. Yep. Devastating. Broadside Bombardiers off the top. Den of the Bugbear, I think you're too late. I take 8 this turn. I think I even have to block. Lose City of Traders to do that. Yeah, I think we're coming up a little short here. I don't think I could go to 2 when I have 2 Ancient Tombs in play. I'm going to have to block this Batter Skull and just accept whatever pain comes with that. Now they're at 7. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, even if I draw a red card, pitch Pyrokinesis to kill the Germ. Yeah, and they're just leaving it back Yorion as a blocker. It's basically free money here to untap that thing. And that's not it. Okay, GG. Just came up a little short in game 3. There may have been a sequence somewhere or like some patience thing that I lack or don't understand. Maybe they just had me beat. That's going to happen sometimes when you are a deck that just puts its cards into play and asks your opponent if they can beat them. Sometimes the answer is yes. But I did have Fury, Fable, Pyrokinesis, and 2 Dead Gones this game. I wonder if there was some just minor sequencing that would have found me 3 extra points somewhere here. Red Prison experts, feel free to weigh in. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2. My hand does not do anything on turn 1, and what it does on turn 2 isn't that impressive. This is a mulligan. Oof. This is a turn 1 Broadside Bombardier, but only one of those mana sources is stable. Like, if I were to keep this, I probably bottom Fury, and then I go turn 1 Broadside, turn 2, I could pitch my last land to Fury something. That doesn't sound like it's going to win either. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, turn 1 Magus of the Moon. Now we're cooking. Keep this, put Den of the Bugbear and Mountain on the bottom, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to turn 1 this thing. Opponent's also on 5. Yeah, this is going to be one of those situations where it's like, am I actually supposed to Magus or should I Fable first? Because Magus could just lock them out, but Fable's the thing that actually lets me play the game. I'm going to lead on Fable, and maybe this is just stone wrong, but not knowing the matchup. They also mulled to 5. They could just be the mirror. Underground Sea. And Ponder. Okay. Their username is Keep the Storm. And I don't usually put too much stock into someone's username, but if their name has a divisive mechanic like Storm in it, they might be a combo gamer. Like, I do tend to like think about those things at least a little bit, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I got them all into my Trinisphere here. Okay, they kept the Ponder, and I am going to discard the Mountain. Don't think I need another land here. Ended up with one anyway. I'm going to attack first to play around Daze, and then let's see if this Magoose is loose. It is loose, and I can play my land now. All right, you've got a Mountain. I'm all in. F6. We got an expletive in the chat and said, didn't expect this from you. Well, I mean, I play what the Patreon sends me. And some of them like Ancient Tombs. And I do enjoy this, don't get me wrong. Like, I like playing out of my comfort zone. I like playing decks that I wouldn't choose on my own. This is a really fun part of my job here. but I for sure would not pick this deck in a tournament. Okay, so they're going to Galvanic Relay for 4, it looks like. Yeah, 4 cards that they can try to play next turn. Petal, Opal, Sewers, and Opal. That was actually a really bad relay, which I needed. Because they're not exactly under a ton of pressure here. If they rip a Beseech the Mirror or Burning Wish, they actually have a ton of mana to work with. But there are a lot of bad draws in their deck right now. At this point, I think I have enough mana in play. And like maybe this just doesn't make sense in the context of Red Prison, but I do play Fable and Mirror Breaker. I'm not completely without card selection abilities here, and sandbagging a city just in case the game gets to that point. And the deck doesn't have any card draw, so if I draw a card that needs this extra mana next turn, I can play it then. I hope that makes sense. I'm just trying to think about the little stuff, because the little stuff is what gets you when you're playing, I mean, any Magic deck, but especially combo and aggro decks. When you're a combo or an aggro deck, your sequencing and your use of cards is everything, because a little mistake and you lose. Control decks, I actually find much easier to play than decks like this one, because you just make a lot of the same binary choice of, does this kill me? If yes, how do I answer it? But a deck like this one, there's all these little things of like, do I lead on Fable or Magus? I'm going to add a Magus to the board. And now I can actually use this mana, so I will. I'm going to copy Goblin Shaman token because that gives me a resource when it attacks. I don't know if that matters at this point. I could have just attacked with the Reflection itself as a 2/2. But they're dead next turn at this point. Dead on board. Their draw step last turn didn't kill me. What do you got now? Bloodstained Mire. And, something's happening. Burning Wish is pretty good here. Beseech the Mirror is very good here. Echo of Eons. All right, here we go. That was a good draw. Yeah, we can lose this one. There's the Trinisphere. I'm going to die with Trinisphere in my head versus Storm. LED. And I did talk quite a bit in the deck tech about how these builds tend to... They look like they're not respecting Storm in favor of respecting things like Delver and Uro and Riskaminator with the unlicensed sources over Trinispheres. And here we are battling Storm. And there's no Mindbreak traps. There's no additional Trinispheres in the sideboard. This basically is what it is. Pitched a Relay to Chrome Mox. Burning Wish. That's bad. There's no Storm count displayed right now, but it's probably pretty good. Even if this isn't a lethal Tendrils, and I've honestly lost count, I have no idea. They could mini Tendrils me to get a few more draws. Did they play a Beseech the Mirror in the sideboard, or are those all in the main? I don't know. Anything could happen here. I feel like we're dead. Okay, there is a Beseech in the sideboard. That should definitely kill me. Because now they can Beseech for Beseech for Beseech for Beseech for Tendrils. I might have just said 5 Beseeches. But the line is clear from this point. Here's the first Beseech. All I can hope for is that they mess up at this point. I am F6'd. There are no instants in my hand. Barely any in my deck. Beseech for Gaia's Will. That also gets them there. And here comes their graveyard. Beseech, Storm is 10. Now they tell me. It's funny that that just popped up on the screen now that it's lethal. Like, oh yeah, hey, by the way. And they did get it done. Yeah, I mean, that was just, did you draw an engine card or did you draw a mana source or some brick? And they found an engine card. Put them to 1 turn to do it. Okay, what do I do against Storm? Brotherhood's End can mop up their artifacts, but if I do that, it kills all my artifacts too. Like that game where I basically didn't have any artifacts, killing all their non-red sources would have been insane. But in a game where I have Chalice, Hearse, Chrome Mox, Trinisphere, any of those things around, that would be nice. Okay, Red Blast seems like a necessary piece of interaction. Fiery Confluence is a burst of damage. Scarab Swarm is graveyard hate, but only barely, not kind of at the speed that I need it to occur. Put that in the maybe pile with Brotherhood's End. I think these are the yeses. Fury is a attacker in my deck. Blood Moon isn't bad. It's also not great because they have so much artifact mana, but their mana base is also pretty soft. Like if I can Chalice on 0 and Blood Moon, that's actually really bad for them. Okay, Blood Moon's back on the maybe menu. I think Magus of the Moon is better than Blood Moon versus their deck, though. Because they don't play Lightning Bolt. That's not a thing I have to worry about. And attacking for 2 versus not attacking for 2 matters a lot when Storm is bumbling. Yeah, it might just be Furies. And then switch a Blood Moon for Magus of the Moon, still keep the same overall number of effects. Fury is the thing that hits the hardest, but it takes the longest to get going and doesn't really interact with their deck. I think this makes sense. Okay, this is really slow. I have Chalice on 0, which is a good start to the game, but I don't even have land 3 or mana 3 to follow up, and I do nothing on turn 2. Like, if this Sokenzan was Ancient Tomb, I keep this hand for sure. I think I mulligan as is. Okay, I can Blood Moon, and then hope that's even good. Like, this one has the mana but doesn't do anything. If I Blood Moon them, though, Fiery Confluence, if I go Blood Moon and destroy all their artifacts, that could be interesting. Okay, I will keep this. I am concerned that Blood Moon is not enough of a lock piece to actually beat them. But I will have 3 mana on turn 2 once I have Blood Moon and my deck's full of powerful 3-drops. Yeah, this is about as close as it gets for me. And I have seen the Epic Storm boarding into Force of Will. That's a thing Bryant was trying the other day. He tweeted a 5-0 with it. So my Blood Moon might get forced here, if that's even a thing they care about. Yep, here we go. Force pitching Brainstorm out of the Epic Storm. That's some borrowed Doomsday technology. Doomsday is pretty good against Red Prison style decks, even though it's a combo deck, because it has up to 7 forces in it. And they could play 8, but they usually play like 6 or 7. Okay, you mulled to 6, had the force. Your remaining 5 cards, do they kill me? I have to know. All right, come on, Rabblemaster. Let's just... Oh yeah, even better. Same thing. Let's do it again. Force me again. Let's do it. Another Hymn to Turok out of mono red. Fetched a Commercial District. Trying to get that selection on the way through here. In their Tendrils. So they're going to have to wish for the other copy or Echo to get that one back in the mix in order to win. And I don't know if they're sandbagging artifacts or if they just don't have them. Okay, sandbagging was the answer. I was about to say if I draw Chalice and play it out on 0 now, it's going to be really good. It seems like they've found something to do with their mana. Exiled Brainstorm. They pitched 1 Brainstorm to Force, exiled 1 to Chrome Mox. Well, they've spewed a lot of card selection in order to get to this point of the game, which is going to be spinning an Echo. And giving me 7 cards here when I'm clearly floundering is a little bit dangerous, but also their hand was Song of Creation, and they got no other plan here. Okay, fresh 7. It includes Trinisphere. If I don't die right now, I've got some cool stuff going on. Mox Opal, that's not on. Now it's on. They played a Misty Rainforest, that's a mountain. We're going on another Echo spin. Away we go. It's at the complete whim of my opponent here. 2 Besejus revealed. Okay, back to threats, but no block pieces. Got 2 black in the pool. The Tendrils is back in the deck. Dark Ritual Beseech gets it done here. Yeah, whichever way this turn ends up breaking down, this one came down to the mulligan. Like, do you keep the 6 that has a lock piece, or do you chase the 5 that has like the lock piece, the better lock piece plus clock? Well, they appear to be passing the turn. I'll take that as a good sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get 5 mana this turn. That's not enough to double spell. City of Traders, Chrome Mox. I'm going to pitch the Shatterskull Smashing to Chrome Mox because if they Echo again, I'd rather just have these resources out here. Okay, we're in with a threat. I am now dealing damage. Opponent couldn't do anything with their 7 cards with black floating last turn. That gives me some hope that their hand might actually just be bad. But we'll see. I'm punching for real damage now. Ponder. That is card selection, but it is not an explosive kill me thing. This Mox Opal's currently not on. They have 2 red mana that I can see. Any artifact unlocks it, except more Mox Opals. Like a Lotus Petal, suddenly they have 4 mana of whatever colors. But right now they have 2 red. They did not shuffle Ponder, now there's a Lion's Eye Diamond. Uh-oh. Oh, but they're passing priority. Ooh, okay, cool. Gonna get to game. Chalice, baby. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Now things are happening. Okay. Broadside Boomby Dooms. I'm gonna try to scare them with this, because if they do have a Force of Will, the Chalice on 0, I think, is more important. It looks like they're doing math right now, figuring out how deadly this thing is. I'm also gonna play Magus of the Moon, because I could throw this as a Lava Axe without losing any other permanents. Okay. Now they're like, okay, yeah, that one's too much. We drew out the Force of Will. Here comes a massive crush of damage. Deal 9 to you. And I will throw one of these Chrome Moxes. I feel like it's done enough here. That extra mana is not going to be what changes the game for me. And I'm going to drop this Chalice on 0. 1 is also a viable number versus them, but 0 stops their most busted draws, and Blood Moon plus Chalice on 0 is a combo. They did have to force that Magus of the Moon, though, because it would have been exactly lethal. Or no, that was after the 2. Never mind. They would have been at 2. They didn't have to force that, but they would have been at 2 life. Okay. They could have Beseiju here. Yeah, all right. Looks like they do have Beseiju for either the Moon or the Chalice. Once again, they're dead on board, and they can wiggle out or not. To be determined. I will accept my mountain from the Beseiju, and then we'll see if we're dead. Brainstorm. They should know right now what the cards they're looking at, if they can win or not. Dark Ritual. That's a bad start for me. That casts Beseech the Mirror, which ends the game. Opal. Chrome Mox. Yeah, this is just bargain fodder. And Burning Wish gets the Beseech that we know is in the sideboard. I'll concede to the Beseech when they show it to me. Alright, cool. Yeah, I mean, maybe that mulligan was wrong, but they did spin my hand twice since the mulligan. I don't know if that makes it right or wrong, but like Blood Moon did something this game. Are the odds better if I go to 5? Like I said in the deck tech, and then it came up now, that this list is not built with Storm in mind specifically. No Mindbreak Trap, no extra Trinispheres, none of that. So, I think the keep was fine, but once again, Red Prison experts, let me know. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. 2nd through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the play in round 3. My hand doesn't do anything turn 1, unless I'm willing to sacrifice my City of Traders to get Hearse out there. Hearse doesn't seem like something that has to be in play on turn 1, unless we're playing against like Reanimator. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, now I can turn 1 the Rabblemaster. This hand has too many Moxen in it, but send it on turn 1. That's what we're doing here, right? I'm going to lead on Chrome Mox just in case they're inclined to force that. That would be so sick. I don't know why anyone would ever do that, but it would have been cool if they did. Rabble, 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 rabble. We're in there. Okay, can we get one of these snowball no contest games? Just getting one of those in this league would be great. Misty Rainforest. And they appear to be passing. Just going to move into combat. Okay. They don't have a removal spell or it would have happened by now. Let's go. Opponent's at 13. Unlicensed Hearse. The big deck building decision in this build. Finally, there's one in play. Has nothing to eat. Don't know if it's relevant in the matchup, but it's here. If this is Rescaminator and they were setting up a Entomb, Reanimate Atraxa, we might have just hard stopped it though. And this Undercity Sewer is kind of hinting in that direction. Echo of Eons. I can respond to the mana source that would cast this. All right, are we just playing against the Epic Storm again? What's going on here? Normally I see the Epic Storm like 1 out of every 15 matches or so. This is 3 times in my last 8 matches across this video and my last one. Brainstorm, okay. I didn't just snap off the graveyard hate on this Echo because what if they do something else? I can respond to the source of mana that would cast the Echo. A Ponder. Looks like they're digging for the LED. If they have a second Echo in hand, then I can't stop, but I can at least interact with the first one. They do have another turn, though, even if they pass here. I'm only hitting for 8. Okay. Now I have to exile the Echo. They might just have another one, and this isn't going to be enough, but I'm going to do the thing I could do. Or they might, like, beseech and kill me with something else. But you still have to do that. Another Lion's Eye Diamond, oh yeah. How am I dead? Just show it to me. Burning Wish is super lethal at this point. Oh, Galvanic Relay. Okay. So they do have to pass the turn. Dark Ritual, Brainstorm, LED, Ponder, Chrome Mox, Gaia's Will, Echo. Alright, well, they could cast that Echo from exile. Oh, wait, do I have extra damage here? Hold on. Let me count this and make sure I don't miss anything, because the Hearse can attack for 2 if I crew it with a creature that can't attack. And I have the Spirit Guide. I make a Goblin that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can put them to 1 if I'm willing to tap out of Hearse to do it. Or I could leave them at 3 and cast Blood Moon. I don't know if Blood Moon matters much, but I don't think 1 versus 3 life matters at all. Alright, I'm just going to play Blood Moon, and they're going to be really glad this isn't Broadside Bombardiers. Yeah, that sucks. 1 damage short of killing them here. Okay, they can hardcast Echo of Eons from exile, and then it's still in the graveyard, and they still have an LED to send it again. But they have to pass priority at some point, so I can get it before the second round. But they do get a big spin here. Chrome Mox. They pitched a Dark Ritual from hand to cast the one from exile. They could have cast it off Lion's Eye Diamond, but I guess they lose the Dark Ritual either way in that reality, so might as well do this. Okay, doing Ponders before you do the Echo is interesting. I guess if you just find Beseech or something, then it doesn't matter. Brainstorm. I don't know, I feel like I would want to look at 7 cards and then decide what I need to cantrip for, rather than try to make something happen from Hellbent. And they just hit mana sources on both of them, so they ended up being kind of good conversions, I guess. All 4 LEDs currently in the mix. Here is the Echo with 9 mana floating. Gonna be hard to win this one. I think I just exile this Echo, because their Gaia's Will is gone. They're not going to do anything else from the graveyard. I'm just going to exile this and hope it's good enough. Yeah, this Gaia Will is in exile, and air quotes can be played, except that cards without a mana value can't be played. Can't even suspend it. It's just gone. And this just gets a tendril straight up. Okay. Once again, just 1 turn short. In this game, 1 damage short of beating a Storm deck. And once again, there's no dedicated sideboard plan for this. I mean, there's a sideboard plan. It's just not like a hammer. Nothing, there's no huge changes happening here. Okay, let's go. This is a turn 1 Chalice without the ability lined up to do anything on turn 2. Almost had the hard lock here of Magus of the Moon plus Chalice on 0. I believe I have to mulligan this. This one is even worse. Mulligan this also. Okay, I can at least Moon on 1 here. I'm going to put back... What do I put back here? Ancient Tomb and one of the Spirit Guides. So they could have Force of Will, which is an annoying thing to have to think about. I could put back Ancient Tomb and Mountain and then have Red Blast up if they force my Magus or if they send an Echo through it. But then I'm playing the game on 1 mana. But playing the game on 2 mana is not much better in this deck. Okay, Ancient Tomb and Mountain are gone. All in on Magus of the Moon. This doesn't feel good, which makes me think it's wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan this, or maybe I'm just supposed to keep the Mountain and not have Force backup, or backup for a Force. But if they do go all in on an Echo here, I have a massive punish. And just attacking 10 times with the same creature might be good enough. There's a Mountain. And they've passed, which unlocks my Red Blast. I can keep Spirit Guide now for my potential next spell, which I don't currently have. And this is the difference between Magus of the Moon and Blood Moon. Just poking for 2 versus not poking for 2. My opponent would have all the time in the world if I led on Blood Moon here, but instead they just, and it's still not like a fast clock, but it's literally not 0. 10 turn clock is so much better than a 0 pressure situation. If they've unlocked blue mana and cast a ponder, I'm not firing Red Blast off on random ponders and brainstorms. This is for Echo of Eons, beginning and end of list. I guess I would go after a Song of Creation as well. It's a slightly longer list than originally promised. The Rabble Daddy, when I find lands, that'll be good. Obviously, them not sending an Echo on turn 1 makes it look really messy that I bottomed the mountain. But, like, am I supposed to plan for that entirely? Ooh, okay. Now I can tap out of Red Blast to get a Rabblemaster in. I kind of don't want to do that. I'm going to attack with my Magus. And just in case of a Thoughtseize or some such thing, I am going to put the Blood Moon under Chrome Mox here. And then my next mana source casts Rabblemaster without ever tapping out of the Red Blast. I might be playing too scared, but also I really only have one thing going on here, and it's that I'm holding up Red Blast. Otherwise, they're just free to Goldfish. Beseiju as a land, as a mountain. Legendary Mountain. Fable, oh, that card's so good. Yeah, this is tricky because they haven't really done anything, but that might be because they're not under pressure, and if I add pressure to the board, they might start acting, which if they start acting, takes away my advantage, which is that I can currently blow out an Echo line. Okay, they're still just land go. Oh, the Broadside Boomby Dooms. That actually changes the clock. I mean, they all change the clock, but this one can deal an extra 7 out of nowhere, which is a very different number than like 2 this turn that they get, or 1 more this turn that they could see coming for next turn. They might also be playing around Mindbreak Trap here. That might be what they think they're doing. Okay, they have given up, and here come the cards. Whatever they are. Dark Ritual. That's probably not an Echo. Dark Ritual. And they might Echo at the end of this chain, which is what I need to happen. Blue in the Pool. This looks like a Beseech. Alright, well, that one's going to be hard to beat. Yeah, they just get Gaia's Will, and that's it. Beseech 4 Beseech. 6, 7, 8. This doesn't quite kill me with Tendrils. Gaia's Will does. Alright. Well, and they did have the Echo the whole time. And Song of Creation. So, I was right to hold up Red Blast, but I was wrong not to draw another mana source. And if I had bottomed differently on my mulligan, I would have bottomed a Spirit Guide to keep the mountain, so my mana's still the same. Like, it's a more stable mana source, but it's not... Yeah, okay, you did it. Dang. Yeah, if I just had, like, a mountain, if one of these 3 cards was a mountain, then I would have had more going on. But it could have been a mountain, but then I guess if I'm just willing to tap out and die 2 turns ago with the Rabblemaster, but then maybe they just do this 2 turns ago. I don't know. That's really tough. Once again, Red Prison experts, let me know. And when I say Red Prison experts, I mean people who actually play this deck. I don't want to hear, like, this deck does one thing, just shove your creature to play, because that's not helpful. Maybe it would have won this game, but I don't know that it's correct. Like, this exact hand, what card could they have drawn this turn that changes what they could have done from last turn? Like, did they just turn on Mox Opal? Did they just find LED? Like, if they just found LED, then that just turns on Mox Opal, and then it unlocks the Beseeches and stuff. Like, maybe their LED was the linchpin that they were missing this whole time. But maybe they had LED Echo, and they were just trying to find, like, Burning Wish for Thoughtseize to check me for Mindbreak Trap before they go off. I don't actually know, and we never will. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the play in round number 4 I have a hand that is actually good. Just stable, no questions good. It does come with the question of, do I Moon or Chalice on one? I think I want a lock piece. This is not a hand that needs the Fable on one. Opponent has a Black Lotus avatar, which somewhere deep in my lizard brain is telling me they're a combo player, which may or may not be true or fair, but I'm still going to Chalice on one here. I feel like I haven't had a useful Chalice in play for this entire league, and I'm going to start now. Scalding Tarn. Chalice tends to be good against Scalding Tarn decks. Every single one of them. A Mountain and Chrome Mox lets me play around Daze. And this is actually really interesting because Broadside Bombardiers hits the hardest. Fable is the card that gives me the most agency in the game, the most decisions to make. And Magus is another lock piece. I think I'm going to pitch Broadside Bombardiers and go for a Magus. Just keep squeezing the locks in. Get the hooks in wherever I can. Basic Island. That's cheating. Okay. They have a Basic Island in their deck, and it is in play now. But they can't cast Ponder or Braidstorm with it. They could cast it, it just won't work. If this is it Delver? Okay, it looks like a scam deck, and I'm sure they have access to a basic swamp. And I wish I had played Unlicensed Hearse instead of what I did. Great. They have to animate dead, though. They can't reanimate. I'm losing my damn mind. Okay, so, like, in all seriousness, though, the pieces to lock this opponent out of the game were here. Like, if I Magus on one, are they able to fetch that island? If I just somehow read that Hearse is better against Scalding Tarn than Magus of the Moon, they don't get a troll. But are these actual skills that Red Prison players have? Is this a vibe check that I've failed on multiple occasions? Or, like, what are we actually doing here? Or am I just, flipping coins and losing my coin flips? These are actually really interesting questions, and I am fascinated by this whole wedge of the format that I am otherwise completely ignorant of. Fable's in. So I go to 6. They go to 9. I go to 1. They go to 1. Then I die. All right, I'm not winning the race right now. Wasteland, not a Wasteland. Oh, Fury. That card's very good. I would like to discard this redundant Chalice of the Void. And the Fury is a frickin' heater. Okay, I mean, that might do it. I get 2 treasures on attack here. They don't have a Bowmaster. They would have done it before Fable happened. They can't daze this. They can force it. If they force it and reanimate it, I'm in trouble. And this card's very good, though. It does change the race. And if they force it, it changes the race there, too. It doesn't kill the troll, but it does hit hard enough to win the game. If they draw Bowmaster, they win. That's just 1 point with me at 1. Oh, we did it. Okay. Yeah, that vibe versus reality. I'm really interested in that. I will maybe bring this up on Eternal Glory, get my colleague Phil Thravenue, who is much better at this sort of thing than me, to weigh in. One thing that is completely fair to say that I am not doing is Googling my opponents. And I don't like to do that when I'm just playing in leagues, because you can't do that effectively in real life. Like, it can be done. You can Google your opponent on your way to the table in real life and see if they have any posted recent tournaments, which is harder to do in the post-lockdown society because we just have this like 2-year dearth of posted results. But you used to be able to find pretty reliable decks that people favor just on Google. But outside of that, like, if I just successfully resolve a Chalice and then they play Scalding Tarn, am I genuinely supposed to read somehow that Unlicensed Hearse is the follow-up to that? Anyway, I cut all my moons for stuff that can bounce a big troll or stop the graveyard somehow. And this hand is big bad. I'm going to mulligan. This hand also only has 1 mana in it, and that mana is wastable. Mulligan that. Okay, I don't love this, but I am going to keep it. I think I get rid of Chrome Mox and one of the Dead Gons. Just feel like I need this mana. Grief. Okay, cool. All right, here comes the scamming. The Grave pitched a troll. Yeah, mulling to 5 just to find a functional hand is really bad versus scam decks that could grieve you twice on turn 1. When I'm a blue deck that's built for stability, I basically just keep any 7 that can do anything. Like, even if, like, a 7 lander I would consider versus scam when I'm on the draw. That might sound dramatic, but I'm not really kidding. I would really think about it depending on the nature of the matchup, because if you mull to 6 or 5 to find the perfect card, then it just gets griefed, and then you have 4 cards in your hand, like what just happened there. Except I didn't even have the perfect card. I was just digging for a hand that did anything. There's the Wasteland. They did not fire it off. They might do it in my upkeep. All right, they didn't do it at all. I mean, I'll take that. Lets me slide this Rabble Daddy through. They might be setting up an Entomb Animate Dead, and then they don't care about Rabble Daddy. Okay, they have Dismember. Sure. All right. And now I'm pretty well exposed to Wasteland. If they waste the Den, then I also lose City if I ever want to play a spell. Oh, they're just wasting City. Thank you for that. Big relief. Reanimating my Rabblemaster. How is that better than your Grief? I guess. No, yeah, I don't see it. Because I could dead this Rabblemaster, and then they have a 1/1 in play where Grief could have taken the dead. They just lose 1 less life this way. What if I could gone this? What if I just had Ancient Tomb bounce my own creature back to my hand? Would be so messed up. Okay, they force backup. That starts to explain it a little bit. I think I do have to Fury this now. Let's just put everyone back to the Stone Age. Okay, you've got Reanimates in your deck. I've got, I don't know, Chalice of the Void. If I find another mana, then every card in my deck becomes terrifying. That one is, I boarded that one in just as a burst of damage versus this deck that does kind of play fast and loose with its life total. All right, we're just passing back and forth now. I found my 3rd mana. If I can find something to cast with it, we're in business. Reanimating Rabblemaster again. Okay. Fiery Confluence does clean this up. Drawing City of Traders would be great here. I'd even take an Ancient Tomb. I'm not going to complain about it. The 3rd Den of the Bugbear. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. And even taking this big hit, though, it's not that devastating. I can still clean up from this. If I draw a land, I can even do it around days. I don't like those 2 cards in their hand after missing a bunch of land drops, so we know they're all spells. Well, there's the Gone. I can just get my Rabblemaster back. And I can do it around days, or I could sweep up this whole thing. I'm going to Gone the Rabblemaster, and I'm going to do it on their turn. All right, before you draw for turn, I'd like my Rabblemaster back. If you have Force, I probably lose here. If you have Days, I can pay. If you have nothing... All right, Force, pitching Brazen Bar. That's pretty good. And then this is 8 damage. I could still stabilize, but I'm no longer beating Days. And Ancient Tomb has become a bad draw. I'm at 4. They're fetching. I hope they cast a Bowmaster or something that just dies here. Getting Grief back's bad. Shit. Well, that takes my out to the situation. And I drew Ancient Tomb. All right, cool. Yeah, that one was a white knuckle ride. Mulled 5, get griefed, almost win anyway. Oh, I boarded out a Spirit Guide. When did that happen? I must have misclicked on something, because I did not intentionally cut a mana source, that's for sure. I think when I was trying to cut my Magus of the Moons, I ended up grabbing an extra Spirit Guide. Maybe a Confluence isn't actually good. Okay, I'm going back in like this. Okay, this hand... I mean, now we're in that spot that I was talking about, where it's like, do you want to chase a potent 5 versus a Grief Force of Will deck? Or do you just want to like keep a 7-card hand that does something? I think I'm going to embrace the Stompy life and try to mulligan. I mean, this is pretty weird, but I will keep it. All right, City of Traders to the bottom. And then Chrome Mox, pitching Shatter Skull Smashing. And I think Hearse is actually more important than Chalice in this matchup. Because the scariest things they do with Chalice are like Entomb and Reanimate, which Hearse stops. Okay, Chalice now also. Going nowhere fast here, but I can at least try to squeeze their options. Brainstorm on the way out. We'll take it. Chalice has resolved. I'm not tapping this Hearse. And they didn't cycle Troll in the upkeep. They might be Brainstorm locked here. They could play a fetch land or cycle a Troll now and go through one of those cards again. If they jam Null Rod right here, I'm in trouble. Powder Keg. I mean, that's bad too. A Powder Keg kills Chalice and Chromox immediately, and that is how they've decided to play the game. Correctly identified that I don't have any red. Okay, I can get red back with that. I think I should play out the Chromox and imprint the Dead Gone before they grief me, and then I'm really not playing this game. Hopefully the hearse will just hold the fort for long enough for me to find a Rabblemaster or something. I don't like those 7 cards in their hand, though. Ponder. I feel like every time I play against this deck, they always keep 7 and just have nut turn 1, nut turn 2, nut turn 3. And then if I survive all that, then I'm actually in the game. And then every time I play a deck like this, I just keep hands like this, and I'm barely even functioning from the jump. Maybe it's because I'm keeping hands like this, but, you know, again, going to 4 or 5, is that what I'm supposed to do? Maybe the answer is actually yes, but it's still weird and shitty. Den of the Bugbear, let's go. And because they wasted me, I don't mind playing it out. Alright, Den of the Bugbear is a win con. Engineered Explosives for 2, okay. That will eventually kill my unlicensed source. Someday. Oh my goodness, a card I could play. Watch out now, world, here I come. Unfortunately, this is the first time I've asked them to actually counter a spell this game, and they probably have one. Okay, that resolved, and we got into combat with it. Interesting. I wasn't expecting both of those things to happen. They tapped a blue and then changed their mind. I wonder if they were thinking about brainstorming to look for an answer. I could have attacked for a bunch here with Unlicensors by crewing it with the Rabblemaster, but that's the same as not having Hearse in play for a turn against a deck that could just Entomb Reanimate. I want to at least make them answer it with this Engineered Explosives. Ooh, cycle the Troll before exploding. Okay. Exiled these 2 things. They could have done that in the other order with the exact same mana available. Okay. So they Fatal Pushed. They've lost their Troll. Okay. So what I want to draw here is some threat. Alright, that counts as some threat. Get in there. Broadside Boom-be-dooms. I'm not gonna boast. I like my token being in play as a steady source of damage. I like that Chromox as a mana source. Cycling Troll, okay. Reanimate puts them into the danger zone. Animate dead. They are winning that race, but barely. Kept their card with Undercity Sewers. Hydroblast, that works. Now they're winning the race by a lot. Oh, reanimating that? Why are they so interested in my graveyard when they have bigger and badder creatures in theirs? It's very strange to me. I mean, they lose 3 less life, but does that even matter? Okay, I can fire up Den of the Bugbear here. I think I just want to push the damage where I can. They can block with Broadside, but that leaves me with 2 Goblins. And this Goblin comes in tapped and attacking, which means I might as well attack with the other one. What I don't want to see here is Fatal Push. Okay, they're at 7. I still have 3 mana, which casts all the important cards. Had to lose a City of Traders there, that stinks. But that's the deck we've played. We've decided to register. Did not shuffle Ponder, has a Wasteland. Okay, now we probably lose. Hardcast Grief. It looks bad here, team. They can get in for 2 here. They can fling this Grief at any point. That's just 7 damage sitting in play. Or 9 damage. Yep, 9. Speaking of 9 damage sitting in play. Broadside Bombardiers, which I can't cast anymore. I could have cast it if I didn't fire up the Den. Maybe that's not worth the resource exchange at the time that it happened. I guess I'll at least Chalice on 1, but we're running out of time here. 5 plus 6 is 11. I'm at 2 on the board. They just play Orcish Bowmasters in the end step, I lose. Griefing, great. Yep, griefing this Broadside. And once again, we're going to come up just a little short. Just a few attacks, a few points. Again, Mulligan felt like the only decision I made this game. And maybe I'm making those wrong. And do you actually just like go to 4 versus Force of Will Grief decks to find a nut start? That seems so wrong, but maybe you have to do that. I'm out of my element here. And let's try to get a win before this league is over.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order only at coalesceapparel.shop.
I'm on the play in round number 5. Fending off a reverse trophy here. I finally have a hand that could just send it. I will keep this. I play Chrome Mox, exile the Spirit Guide, make the Forever Spirit, and Rabblemaster takes the most time to warm up, so I'll lead on that one. We got another, well, this is a surprise from the opponent. I play what I'm sent. It is what it is. You can't count on me for anything in these Moto leagues. Out in these streets. Misty Rainforest. Volcanic Island. Mercer's Bubble. Alright, we're playing against Delver. And they don't seem to have a 1-drop. They might Lightning Bolt my Rabblemaster. Den of the Bugbear. The nuts. Let's keep the nuts coming. I shouldn't say that. Let's keep drawing good cards. Yikes. Okay, Broadside Bombardiers is on the stack. And let's see, do you have Lightning Bolt and who's it targeting? Yes, you do, and it's targeting that one. Okay. In with the squad, and I'm not going to boast anything here. Brainstorm. We got my Brainstorms hate me in the chat. Okay, good news. My decks hated me this whole time. Ooh. Brick City, yeah, your Brainstorms do hate you. That was bad. Okay. I could play Magus of the Moon, or I could just take 5 to fire up Den of the Bugbear. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage this turn. Just put you to dead on board. I think that's worth doing. I'm going to shatter this pass. You're telling me a skull shattered this pass? Here we go. Squad's going in. They're at 8, and I am going to boast one of the goblin tokens at them. I think just doing extra damage here matters. If they do somehow stick a Murktide, but they missed a land drop last turn, so that's not going to happen. Trying to think of their outs here. I don't even think they have any. Like, Wasteland takes out Den, they die to the creatures. Lightning Bolt takes out Broadside, they die to the Den. 3, 4, 5. They would have been at 1, but they would have had, maybe they would have had to fetch to it. Okay, we're playing against Delver. The real test. Red Elemental Blast is good. Dead Gone is good. Magus of the Moon seems bad here. This is a deck that can just Lightning Bolt this easily. I'm not real high on Blood Moon either. Unlicensed Hearse, this is one of the matchups that it's for. Yeah, Delver even sometimes plays Blood Moon themselves. The more colors they have, the worse it gets. Like, Blood Moon's pretty good against Grixis, and medium to fine against Izzet, or medium to bad against Izzet. Teamer is basically the same as Izzet, they just can't cast their Questing Druid. Canoptic Scarab Swarm seems like something that would completely flip a race. Pyrokinesis could kill some stuff. Do I want any Blood Moons at all if I have down to 1? Yeah, I'm going to rock with this Scarab Swarm. That actually seems powerful. To buy a bunch of time versus a Murktide region or whatever. Okay, after the goods last time, the nuts have stopped coming. I did that one on purpose. Okay, I am going to keep this in. And Fury is important to take the pressure off if they lead on a creature. Broadside Bombardiers can also kill creatures, though. Alright, I'm going to bottom the Fury, and maybe regret that. We'll see. Dragon's Rage Channeler, Rabblemaster, Spirit Guide, Chalice of the Void. Let's just start putting scary permanents on the stack. Daze, yep. That was going to get me eventually. Even if I held back that Spirit Guide to cast a 3-drop next turn, Daze was still there waiting. When I'm playing against blue, I basically treat the first spell I cast as Duress or Hymn to Turok, and after that we can see what cards actually resolve. Do they have the Wasteland? They don't. They polluted Delta. And Den of the Bugbear, number 3. Hell yeah. That's a really awkward third land to draw. Hey, they're fetching here. Thundering Falls. I don't think Grixis Delver would have room for a tap land. They've been to Meltdown. That's 3 card types. There's the Volk they picked up on turn 1. I suspect there is it, and not Grixis. They might just be like the light splash for Teamer, air quotes Teamer. Okay. ETB tapped land, opponent gets a free time walk, and now I'm going to start casting spells every turn. How this game is shook out, I kind of wish I had a Fury in my hand. I'm just flooded with red cards and nothing to do. Okay, Teamer revealed. And this looks like a Murktide coming my way. Yep, that's just in. Not doing nothing about nothing over here. Okay, I can pay for days. Sneaky pay for days. I'm going with Fable because I need to dig for Dead Goblins or Pyroblasts because this is not going to be winnable any other way. Rabblemaster is not going to beat this Murktide region. Heck yeah, Sneaky Daze. Normally you want to do this on turn 1, just blow out a Daze on turn 1. It's less effective on turn 4, but I'm still happy my spell is going to resolve. Or at least require another answer. Okay, we're in there. It didn't Lightning Bolt me. Thundering Falls back in play. Picked it up with Daze. The combo. They're going off. Milled a Murktide. Now there's a Lightning Bolt. That'll be pointed at my Shaman. And this is still 3 card types. And now I'm looking for Dead Gone and Pyroblast to try to catch up. I think I discard Rabblemasters and Broadside Bombardiers. Kind of feel like I might need mana with the Chrome Mox. Alright, I drew another Chrome Mox. Now I feel like a Jagoff. I'm still going to try to kill Murktide just right now. But I did have to discard 2 because that was the second card down. Okay, you did it. Few too many free permission spells. I waited or lost too many turns farting around. I think the deck I've constructed is still the best that I can come up with given my familiarity with the deck and the matchup and everything. I'm just going to have to hope for a good hand. And I am once again rewarded with a hand that has 1 source of mana and no plan at all. I'm going to mulligan. 2 Ancient Tombs, no red source. Got to mulligan this too. Straight to 5. I can turn 1 Fable and hope it's good enough. Keep this bottom Chrome Mox and 10 of the Bugbear does something later. Mountain is more stable. I think I want the Mountain. Just terrified about stability at this phase. Chrome Mox. Pitch that red card. Cast this red card. Please don't Force of Will. We're in there. Okay. I will at least get to look at a few cards this game. Wasteland. Oh my god, please waste me. That's insane. I literally have a Goblin Shaman token in play. How many of these can I afford to discard? Definitely 1. Do I send them both? Just try to find action? I'm going to discard both. Sick. Okay. Attack with my Goblin. Maybe that was just supposed to be 1, but I did find stuff to do. Wastelanding into Goblin Shaman token is wild. And if they go land Lightning Bolt here, then we're kind of back to chilling. Okay. They had a long-term plan. They have their graveyard under control. Broadside Bombardiers. Okay. Well, I'm going to crew this and attack for 2. I don't think I need to attack their graveyard this turn. This isn't Reanimator. This is Delver. They build up over time. They get Delirium. They exile Murktides. That's what they're doing with this. Yeah, discarding that second mountain might have been a little too aggressive. I just thought I had a window there. They fetched and played a Delver. And another Delver. Okay. I can dead one of these things. How bad do I want to get blown out by Daze? I could attack, see if they double block. And then try to get a huge combat exchange. Okay, they did not block at all. A reasonable decision. I'll try to make Delver dead. Daze got me. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling pretty stupid about discarding both mountains. Discarding 1 was probably correct. I just smelled blood in the water and wanted to push my advantage. But removing my own ability to play the game. Obviously, though, like if I loot into Goblin Rabblemaster Ancient Tomb, I look like a genius. So, I don't know. Delver Slip Revealing Bonders. And I am reasonably still just Ancient Tomb away from playing this game. Did not shuffle Ponder. Life is Pain. Wasteland. Ha! Played around it. I don't have any lands. Idiot. In for 6. Here comes the real damage. City of Traders. Okay. Should I attack for 4 or leave up Hearse? I'm dead in 2 hits. None of these things change the race. So if I draw Broadside next turn, I think them being at a lower life total is where I need to be. Okay, you're at 9. Imagining a universe where I resolve Broadside. I attack for 6. And then can fling. Oh, great. All right. Well, yeah, you win. All right. Feeling bad about that mountain. Yeah, this just did not happen for me. Obviously, you were here. You saw it happen. 1-0 matches with a top deck in the format, a top 10 deck in the format. Some of this stuff, like I talked about it as it went on, like I feel like the only thing that I really probably got insanely greedy and threw on was that Fable activation, discarding both mountains in the last game. Like I should have just kept one of those to be safe. Everything else was kind of like bad mulligans or vibe check. And by bad mulligans, I don't know if I was taking bad mulligans. Maybe I'm just not willing to go to 3 or 4 cards, and I need to be if I'm going to play this deck. But I feel like my 6s and 7s on average were just heinous throughout the entire 5 matches we just played. Even if we are playing a deck built on leveraging the London Mulligan to sculpt good hands, and that is kind of the theory behind the deck, you would think that even like, I don't know, maybe twice I would just keep 7, which did not happen. There's definitely something I am missing about how to play these decks. Maybe I'm just not lucky enough. Maybe I'm too used to having Ponder to fix situations. But, you know, bad mulligans, mulling to 5 every single game, like that sort of stuff is one thing. But I think what's actually interesting about this deck, and is actually a skill for playing the deck, is what card do you play based on almost 0 information? On 0 information, you just play whatever the best card in your hand is. But on almost 0 information, like that game, the one moment in this league that's really meaningful to me is when they played Scalding Tarn, and my Chalice resolved, then they played Scalding Tarn, and I had the choice between Magus of the Moon or Unlicensed Hearse. Okay, maybe if that fetch land was Polluted Delta, I respect the Rescaminator. But even then, Entomb's off because of Chalice of the Void. Like, am I still respecting just Animate Dead a Troll? Because they can't Entomb or Reanimate with Chalice already in play. It has to be Cycle Troll into Animate Dead specifically. Are you just supposed to lead on the Hearse in case their Scalding Tarn is actually Rescaminator and they have exactly that line? Or what if that was just like 4-color beans and they just lose if I play Magus of the Moon and they don't care about Unlicensed Hearse at all? Separating the I made the right play and lost anyway versus I punted or I got unlucky, I think is going to be a really important skill to being good with this deck. You just kind of have to, based on the numbers, like most Scalding Tarn decks will care about Magus of the Moon more than they care about Unlicensed Hearse on turn 2 with a Chalice already in play. Send the Magus of the Moon. And, you know, I'm right, I don't know, 75% of the time, 80%, 61%, 51%. I don't know, I'm making these numbers up. Just like, you have to know the numbers, play the numbers, and then sometimes you're wrong and you lose. I find this deck so stressful to play. Way more than a grindy control deck. I would rather play 27 turns of Uro nonsense than 4 turns of this. Chadwick, sorry I couldn't give you a better showing. Hopefully, I gave you at least things to think about in your journey into Legacy. Your blue version of Ancient Tomb Stompy will be up in a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to that one. That's definitely more my speed. God, I love Force of Will. Okay, I'm getting out of here. I'm done with this. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.